This is the Throstle Club with Norman Bartlam and Bob Downing. Well, hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Throstle Club. Now, this is the programme which looks back on the long and illustrious history of West Bromwich Albion, and we speak to former players and supporters about their memories of our marvellous club, with a particular emphasis on this month in history. Now, alongside me, as always, is the man who always has an excellent form rate, or at least that's what the Argus used to say, Bob Downing.
Hello, Norman.
So good to see you again, Bob. And Black Country Radio's very own Billy Spakeman is twiddling his knobs in the corner.
I am.
Yep. Yeah. So you've had a good knob twiddling week?
Well, yeah. You know, normal.
Just normal.
Just normal this week, yeah.
Now, this isn't normal, though, because we've got special guests.
I know.
Today. We haven't got any ordinary guests. I know we say we've got special guests every week, don't we? But these are even more special. Extra special. And not only have we got one, not only have we got two, but safety in numbers. We've got three.
Yeah.
Three special guests. So first of all, a big welcome to Gurdial Singh of the Albion Foundation.
Hello, everybody.
Or as it says on my typing on my sheet in front of me, Gurdial Sigh. So I think so we'll be sighing with you a little bit later on. Now, alongside Gurdial is a man who needs no introduction, but I suppose as it's radio, we better give him an introduction.
Because nobody knows who it is.
But he goes by the initials of AJ, which can only mean Andy Johnson.
Yay.
Good afternoon, everybody.
So, former Baggies player and keeping Andy in check today, Andy.
Yeah, she's mute. And my partner, Kelly Hayes.
Yay.
Right.
She'll go up to the mic before we finish.
So she's cowering in the corner at the moment. I don't want to do this.
They all say that.
They all say that. But she soon will do.
What
so,
she doesn't know is the door is locked and she's not
not get
allowed
out
out
until she's spoken. So we've got plenty of things to talk about. And we'll also be talking, would you believe, Billy, about canoeing across the English Channel.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Don't give Andy Smith any ideas, mate. I'll be doing that for Busking for Charity.
We don't want any canoodling in the corner here. We're just here to talk about the Albion. So, plenty to talk about on this edition of the Throstle Club when the men with the white coats arrive soon to take away Andy for wanting to do this canoeing stuff, which we'll find out about on this edition of the Throstle Club. Yeah, the fantastic Hawthorns Choir from the Brumley Road getting us underway again on this, the February 2026 edition of the Throstle Club. Now, before we start our nostalgia stuff, let's just have a quick look on the current situation at the Albion. Bob, I'm sure you've been looking forward to this.
Not really.
So, let's put it like this, shall we? Things aren't exactly going as we would like.
No. They haven't been going as we would like since about, I don't know, third or fourth week of the season. Let's get one thing straight. I mean, there's people talking about, we're facing another great escape. We ain't. The great escape was one match at the end of the season. We've got how many games left?
15,
we've got to go to Sheffield Wednesday. We've got to go to Blackburn. We've got to go to Oxford. Okay, yeah, I can understand how the fans feel. But if ever the team needed the fans behind them, it's now. This is when the crux comes. It's all right singing and dancing when we're 3 or 4 or 5 up. Oh, the dream of it. Being 5 up somewhere. But now they're in a fight. We all know they're in a fight. This is when you get behind them. This is when you give them the encouragement they need. You know, I can understand the fans' frustration. We all can. But, you know, you've got to be one now. We've all got to come together and try and get out of this mess. And then hopefully look for something a bit brighter next season. I mean, Andy does a fantastic job on radio and television on Albion with the Albion TV and radio, and I can sense sometimes the frustration in him because he's been there, he's done it.
Well, I'm
He's
a
got
fan
the
as well,
T-shirt.
Bob. I'm a fan as well, you know, and
Yeah.
and that's the tricky thing sometimes is, you know, when you're supporting the club and things aren't going as well as you'd like, and having played for the club and how much it means to all of us, it's frustrating. It's a frustrating place to be, and you know, I think I'd like to echo what you said. It's a time for everybody to come together, you know, whether it be playing staff, players, you know, coaches, the fans, everybody at the football club needs to pull together for this, you know, to get us out of this mire that we're in at the moment, you know, and it's not going to be difficult, not going to be easy, sorry, but, you know, we can definitely do it, you know, it's so like us as a football club, isn't it, you know, we get down there, we you know, even with, you know, like you said, the great escape, getting promotion to the Premier League the first time on the last day of the season, you know, it's so our football club, and, you know, this is just another chapter in it, and I'm sure we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think we will be.
Well, we're recording this just ahead of the Coventry game now. And Coventry had been on a poor run, hadn't they? A couple of draws and a defeat. Then they go and beat Middlesbrough last night to go back at top of the table. So it's just sod's law with the Albion, isn't it?
Yeah,
Team comes good just as we're about to play them.
I've never known a championship like this. Never ever. I mean, they were talking. We were talking the other night about the plan to try and get teams that finish 7th and 8th into the playoffs, and it worries me, that does. If you're good enough, if you're only good enough to finish 8th in the championship,
Well, you've got no
and
right
then
on
you
wanting
go up
to
to the
be
Premier
in the
Division,
Premiership.
it's lambs to the slaughter, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's the void is getting bigger, isn't it, between the Championship and the Premier League? I mean, you know, if you're getting promoted, I don't even think 100 million is enough nowadays. You know, it's a real tricky place to be, and I think you've got to have a mixture of all sorts. You got to have a mixture of youth, experience, you know, players that have been there before and done it, and you need a lot of luck as well. You know, that's the big thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I read somewhere at weekend. You know, because people talking about the magic of the FA Cup's gone. You know, we've got no replays. We have penalty shootouts now with no VAR until the 6th round or something. But somebody said it was in one of the reports. The reason about the Premier Division clubs only putting the reserve team out until about the 6th round.
Yeah.
Until they can win it. If you win the FA Cup, you win £2.1 million. If you go up into the Premier Division, you get 110 million. Where the priority is going to be. That's what you've got to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we know the answer to that, don't we?
Yeah. Bit of a conflict though with the sentiment of the fans, isn't there? But how many fans would love to see us have a good cup run?
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants a cup run, but I'm afraid in our situation, it's, you know, a cup run would be nice. It's not the be all and end all. The be all and end all is staying in the championship.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking at the Norwich game when we obviously got knocked out. I mean, I was looking at that and I was thinking, you know, at the minute as a football club, we just need a win. We need to win a football match, and whether that be in a cup game or whether that be in a league game, I don't think it really makes any difference. I think that win gives us all. One, it gives Eric Ramsey his first win, but two, it just lifts everybody, and I just think that sometimes the priority is the league. Absolutely, I totally agree. But sometimes a good cup run can spur that on as well. You know, sometimes it can hinder it because you can get injuries. It is really the luck of the draw with that one. But I think just a win at the moment would have just done everybody the world of good.
True.
Few thoughts on Eric Ramsey?
You can't keep chopping and changing every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I don't think he's been in the game long in the job long enough to even have a thought on him. I mean, it was a difficult place to come in. It's a difficult job, and you've got to just give him the time that he needs to show us what he can do. I think.
How much time would you give him?
I'm not on the board, am I? I couldn't possibly answer that question. I don't know. I think, you know, you've got to be, as Bob said, you just can't keep changing managers all the time. You get no foundation built. You know, I think he's definitely the man sees us through this.
Yeah.
He's got to have a pre-season. I think after he has that, and a transfer window, if there's monies available, I think then you can even start to think about judging his performance. But at the moment, I think it's just ridiculous to even consider commenting on it.
Bob?
No, I agree with Andy. You can't keep chopping and changing. I mean, some of the names that have been put forward by fans on social media, I mean.
Yeah, that is the big issue for me. If you do get rid of him, who do you replace him with? But we haven't got to that stage yet.
Let's face it, the people who are out of work at the moment have all been sacked.
Yeah.
And they've been sacked for a reason.
Yeah.
They haven't got the results for the team that I was working for.
Yeah.
So, you're jumping out of the frying pan into the fire.
Yep. All right, so we'll see how the month goes, and we'll return to this, no doubt, in our next programme in 4 weeks' time, and when I'm sure we'll all be
we shall all be
much
jumping about.
happy and jumping about.
We'll
So
all be boinging all over the
The
place.
way this league is, a few wins and we could just be outside the playoffs. It's absolutely ludicrous. It really is.
Right, you're listening to the Throstle Club on Black Country Radio Extra, and also possibly on the main Black Country Radio as well. And much later, perhaps, on my website, tntnews.co.uk, and also on a podcast form on Spotify and all other good platforms, isn't it? You call it these days, don't you? That you can get these programmes on. This is the Throstle Club with Norman Bartlam and Bob Downing. Right, so let's bring our guests in then. And first of all, Gurdial, obviously lots of people know you and see you out and about working for the Albion Foundation. But just tell us a little bit about yourself and how come you started supporting the Albion and the likes.
Okay, I grew up in West Bromwich. Actually grew up in on the High Street, West Bromwich. So I knew of a football team as I was growing up, but I would never have been allowed to go to a game. I'm from a Sikh Punjabi background, and culturally, it just wasn't on. So as growing up, I became a West Brom fan, but very much an armchair fan. And I got most of my information about the Albion and the match reports from a certain Bob Downing, who I'm lucky enough to be able to call a mate now. So it was mainly through that, and it was only until I was married and my youngest kid turned 4, my son Joshan turned 4, that we started coming to the games. And even then it wasn't really, it was frowned upon a little bit. It's something that's like generations. Nowadays you talk to people and they say, oh, my granddad brought me to the game, or my uncle brought me to the game, my dad brought me we haven't got that culture to sort of fall back on. So it was very much a conscious decision, right? We as a Indian, Punjabi, Sikh family are going to start going to football matches together as a family, even though it's not the done thing. And we've been doing that ever since. My kids have moved away. Jadine and Joshan live in London, and Jeevan lives in Los Angeles, but they're still big Albion fans, and it's something we share as a family. So, yeah, I missed out on, the 1978 team. I really regret not seeing Cyril and Bomber and the rest of them actually play. But it's been a fantastic roller coaster of a journey following the Albion since then. It's something I wouldn't change for the world. And luckily enough, I was asked to come and work for the Albion Foundation, which is the charity arm of the club. I still don't think enough people know about it, but the work they do within the community around the Hawthorns is absolutely fantastic. They basically offer chances for people. If you've got a kid with a disability, a kid in a wheelchair or whatever, and you think they'll never have the opportunity to play in a game or wear the shirt, the foundation allows you to do that. We've got wheelchair teams, we've got pan disability teams, we've got a blind team, an amputee team, and the work they would do within schools, mentoring. It's just amazing. There's so much that goes on. I couldn't possibly begin to tell you all of it, but it's something as a fan, we should all be very, very proud of.
I think we should also say, Gurdial, that the disability teams
Yeah.
have won more trophies
Yes.
than the first team,
Absolutely.
and they never fight against relegation, do they?
Absolutely. Yep. The blind team, for example, which my colleagues Rich Henderson and Chris Winston, amongst others, look after. They are amazing, absolutely amazing, and they've won trophies. And I would encourage every single person to go out and try and watch them, if ever they can, if they're playing at home. Same with the wheelchair teams. The power chair football is so successful as well. I think we've won the equivalent of the Champions League with the wheelchair team. So, let's get out and support them as well as our not so successful first team.
I mean, it's interesting as well because my grandson Sam was,
Yes.
with the foundation,
Yes.
and he tells the story. He was with the wheelchair team.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not in a wheelchair; he's perfectly able, but he was with the wheelchair team, and he got to know them quite well. And they let him use one of the wheelchairs.
Yeah.
And if you think that it's easy in a wheelchair, it ain't.
No.
And, I mean, it takes that amount of skill
Yeah. It
and
does.
coordination. It's absolutely incredible. And if you've never, he played. There was a league going in the foundation at Albury Sports Centre, and at the same time the blind team were playing, and you want to see them. That is absolutely
Unbelievable.
fantastic.
The first team has a go, sort of once every season. They have a go at the power chairs and the blind football, and they come away with so much respect and admiration for the players. Because it is really difficult, and we've got the likes of Issa playing for the blind team, who now plays for England, a real star, and I do wish we'd promoted it a little bit more as a club, or give us something to be proud of and shout about if it's not always going okay on the pitch. That the heart of the club is there. I feel the foundation is the heartbeat of West Bromwich Albion, and I feel very, very, very blessed to be able to say I work for the Albion Foundation with the Hawthorns Hub.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Hawthorns Hub a little bit later, and also perhaps some of the charity fundraising things, because obviously being a charity, there's always the need to raise money for it,
Yeah.
which we'll talk about a little bit later in the programme. But you, AJ, you must have seen some of the wheelchair people and the blind people in action. It's stunning, isn't it?
I mean, I've been so fortunate to be asked to be part of the foundation and helping sort of raise funds. We did a charitable walk from Wembley to West Brom a couple of seasons ago, and Blind Dave, who is an ambassador for the foundation, he needs no introduction anywhere, does he, Dave? I mean, the work he does is unreal. But I've also played the blind football, and I went to a training session, and afterwards I said, for that sort of half an hour I did it, I was the one with the disability, because these guys, they don't want you to feel sorry for them. They're phenomenal. They really are unbelievable. And Gurd's already mentioned Issa, who plays for England, and I mean, I actually questioned whether the lad was blind or not, because honestly, he's that good. He is unreal. And the work that the foundation do, Gurdy and, Rob Lake and Jonathan Ward and so many others, it's just incredible. It doesn't matter what you are ability-wise, there is something for you to get involved in. And, for me, it's the best in any football club of any division. It really is that good.
You've been modest with your walk, though. The Wembley walk. You did it blindfolded.
Well, no, I didn't. Rob Lake did it blindfolded, which credit to him. I was leading Blind Dave for most of it.
Oh, okay.
Which at times it was a little bit like I was blindfolded. I mean, it's when you say there's a step, they say how high, and you go, I don't know, it's a step, because you just take it for granted, And
Yeah.
Dave actually said to me, we've just walked past a bus stop, and again I was like, how do you know that? And just all the other senses come into you know, action so higher than ours. I mean, and like I said, these guys, they don't want sympathy. I mean, I've been and watched the blind team win the cup and win the league up at St George's, and it's brilliant. I really, really encourage people to go and watch it because it's fantastic. I mean, we had the foundation day when Mr. Patel came in and some of the other directors came in and his family to the foundation over at the other side of the Hawthorns and the sports hall, and they were in the power chairs. And as you said, Bob, this isn't easy. It's not easy, but these guys are so good. They make it, like any good sports person, they make it so easy. They make it look like it's just second to none, and you know it really is. It's brilliant.
The foundation is like, why shouldn't they be able to do that? Why shouldn't they be part of a team, wear the badge, you know, be proud of what they do? You know, having a disability doesn't mean to say that you can't experience all that. So it's a wonderful thing, and I encourage everybody to find out more about the foundation, which you can do on the official website as well.
I mean, these guys are competitive as well. I mean,
God,
you think blind football would not be competitive. I mean, you imagine two people that can't see running at full pelt into each other. I mean, it's like a train crash in slow motion. It is, honestly. They're strong, powerful athletes, you know, and just because they're blind, they have everything else that anybody else has, you know, and it's... there is some brilliant play, and you know I've done it, and football's hard enough to concentrate on just football, but when you have so many other things going on around you, it really does show how skillful these people are.
Mm-hmm. But then, now talking of skills, what about yourself?
What skills do I have? my radio skills.
Notice I left the silence there
for somebody to come
Before he
into.
says anything, because I know he's modest, can I just say AJ is a real asset to the foundation as well?
A real
That's
what?
very kind.
A real asset.
Oh, assets.
Asset.
Yeah.
Yes, a real asset, an ambassador, and gives all he can, and it's very, very much appreciated.
No, I love it, but thank you, Goods.
Yeah. So youngsters know the name AJ or Andy Johnston, so perhaps you just ought to reiterate, you were at the Albion for about 5 years when you saw 2001, 2006-ish. Tell us a bit about your Albion career. Well, start off with before you were at Norwich to start with.
Yeah,
tell us a bit about your schoolboy football and stuff.
I was in Bristol playing for. I started at St Vallier, and then I got picked up. I went to a few clubs, but chose Norwich. It was lovely. It was 252 miles away from home, which was just about far enough at that time. No, I moved over there as a 16-year-old. It's tricky. I mean, you know, you think you know the world when you're young, and you actually don't. And then I had some great times at Norwich. We got into Europe, and you know, me and a certain Gary Megson sat on the bench in the Olympic Stadium. Where we beat Bayern Munich. I think it's 2-0 or 2-1 that night, and still the only team to ever beat Bayern Munich in the Olympic Stadium in a European competition. So that was a fantastic achievement, and that will always stand because I don't play there anymore. So we take that with us.
Can't take that record away.
Then I went to Nottingham Forest, got promoted the first season, back to the Premier League. We had a great squad. That's the first time I met up with Kevin Campbell, God rest him. And then that I spent 4 or 5 years there, and then I got a phone call from Gary Megson, and he said, "Do you want to team back up?" And I jumped at the chance, came down to the Hawthorns, and well, what can I say about that? Definitely the best time of my life football wise. The first year we get promoted, and God knows how we did that. Even to this day now, I just have no idea how that happened. And then we obviously get relegated because, as Bob was saying, you know, the void is quite big even now. Back then it was, you know, certainly for us, I mean, it was massive. I don't think there was enough money you could have spent on our team at that time, and that's no disrespect to any of them players. They're all good friends of mine and great lads, but yeah, we were coming straight back down. But this is the thing, see, even though we were coming back down and everybody knew it, we still gave everything every week. You know, we left nothing out on the pitch, and our supporters, if nothing, they're very realistic and they love us to try. And as long as they can see that you're doing what you can for their football club, they'll get behind you and support you 100%. And that's why I think the last couple of games have changed, because they can see, certainly at Blues, You know, the lads are out there giving everything. All right, we're not scoring goals like we would like, but they're certainly giving all the effort that they can, and that's all they want, I think. And you know, that's what we had in spades. So we got promoted, God knows how. Then we got relegated. We all know how. Then we actually started to build a foundation. Then because we had the payment of going into the Premier League, then we had the balloon payment of coming back down. Then we started to get some players coming in. We had Jonathan Greening join, Sean Gregan, Zoltan Guerra, you know, players which have played a little bit of experience, a little bit more youth, you know. And then we get promoted again. And this time we're going to give it a little bit more of a go. And, you know, we all know what happened. Then the Great Escape. And then I had the season. I got injured in the January, I think it was, in the Great Escape against Fulham away. And then my career was, I should have probably retired at that point. But you never do as a player. You want to drag it on. I was 30 and I had a creative surgeon, shall we say, and he managed to bodge it up a little bit, but my legs are going, like, even now, I mean, Kel says to me all the time, are you all right? Unless I get out of bed in the morning, I've got to wait for a little bit of blood to get round the knee before I've got any lubricant in there at all, you know. It's but yeah, and then I went from there to Leicester. I went from Leicester to Barnsley, and then I dipped my finger in the managerial pot, and I with another former West Bromwich Albion player, Carl Heggs. Yeah, me and Heggsy took over it. Kings Lynn. So I got to Kings Lynn because my old youth team manager at Norwich, Keith Webb, was the manager at the time, and he asked me to come over and play for them at the end of my career. So I went and done a little bit. He got the sack. I took over with Eggsy. It didn't last very long. I didn't enjoy it down there at that level. It's not very nice, you know, and I kind of thought, what am I doing? So I retired totally from football, and now me and Cal now have got our own fire engineering company, and yeah, that's, you know, we're happy and everything's wonderful in life.
Brilliant, yeah. Come on then, Kelly, get into the microphone. He's
Here
still
she
hiding at the
comes.
back. Here she comes. Round of applause for
Yay.
Kelly. Right, come on then. So, have you always been a football fan, Albion fan, or just since you met a certain A. Johnson?
None of the above. No.
Well, thank you anyway.
My family are huge Albion fans, if that helps. So yeah, so I've always heard about the Albion. It's about as much as it goes.
Mm-hmm. You're not a fan, are you? You're not,
no.
You know, she comes to all the games, home and away. She likes the home games better than the away games because, you know, I kind of leave her in the away end and say, I'll see you in 90 minutes. And usually she comes back out a little bit dishevelled. You know?
You were down at St Andrews, that 0-0 draw, I think, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
So what do you think of the atmosphere there in the crowd? I thought that was quite good that night.
You're asking the wrong person, Norm. You really are asking the wrong person.
To be honest, I put my earphones in and listened to this one on the radio.
Oh, you're the one that I did say somebody was listening to it.
I have to say, Kelly, fair play. You're there, home and away. You know, your heart's with AJ. It's not necessarily with, you know, what's going on the pitch.
I'll tell you a little story, and that's exactly this sums it up. So I was poorly last season. Was it last season? It was last season, wasn't it? And we played Hull away, and I was struggling. So Kel drove with me all the way there, and she was ill as well. We had chest infections, didn't we? And she never even come into the ground. She slept in the car while I went in, did the radio. I couldn't do the interviews after the game. We won the game, and I couldn't do the interviews because I could hardly speak at the end of it. I was just absolutely exhausted, and we had to stop on the way home to have breaks because we were falling asleep. We were dosed up on all kinds of antibiotics and everything, weren't we? And that's what she does. She comes in, you know, we quite like a little trip away, a little road trip.
Well, she's a keeper, AJ.
She's a keeper, absolutely. Yeah.
I think it ought to be said as well when Andy's doing the radio.
Is he trying to get down on one knee now, is he?
That'll be a first.
It's an exclusive.
That'll be a first. You're on video, by the way. We're videoing all of this.
I mean, when he's doing television and radio, you're not sitting in comfortable seats. You're outside. And you know, I mean, you've got all the noise going on. And sometimes I feel sorry for him, you know, because something happens and we've seen it on the television or we've heard it on the radio. And all you can say to Andy saying, well, we ain't got a replay machine here.
Yeah.
So I can't see what's going on.
And Bob, the classic was Portsmouth. I mean, the stand came really low, so you had to duck to see the far side. And then you couldn't see because, you know, and what was the other game the other night? Blues. they had the fireworks and everything.
yeah.
And for the first sort of 15 minutes, you couldn't see the other side of the pitch
That's
because
right.
of all the it was like the
Yeah.
day after bonfire night.
Yes.
You know, when it's
Yes.
everything's smoggy and and it's
yeah,
terrible sometimes.
We were talking about this the other night about the pyrotechnics, and I mean it costs millions. To do the things, but when the match kicks off, I mean these things have only just gone out.
Yeah.
So when the match kicks off, you start to wonder whether the referee can actually see the linesman over there because there's a fog there.
And the fans as well. There's
Yeah.
many fans that have got asthma or breathing problems.
Yeah,
and,
that's true.
You know, they don't find it comfortable. I hope we don't go down that route.
No,
really,
no.
we don't need that kind of gimmicky. You know,
It's part of the Americanization of sport, isn't it?
we
with,
don't. We
with
don't.
the owners
we
that
don't
they've
need
got.
it. We don't need fireworks or you know flashing lights or.
Well, if you notice, Blues had to turn their lights off for 20 minutes
did.
before kick-off to afford all that. You know, that's,
Do you know what? I
Oh
think
dear,
it's,
they'll take a dim view of that, I think.
no,
I think I said that on the air, haven't we?
no, we don't. We
It's
don't
only
need the,
joking. We like the Blues.
we
I
don't
like
need the
it. You know, I
gimmicks.
mean, I think you got to look at Birmingham City and say thanks because they're keeping the heritage of the Black Country alive with all the chimneys.
Oh,
Dig.
I'm seeing Chinny next week.
Didn't realise you were bringing me in here to get me in trouble.
You don't need people to get you into trouble. You're quite capable of doing that yourself, I think. Yeah, so your radio stuff then, how did that come about?
It was Martin Swain. He called me up about 5 years ago now, believe it or not, and asked me if I'd like to come back. At that point, we didn't know in what capacity, but he said sort of match day media kind of role. The former players do a wonderful job with sort of match day media anyway, in terms of, you know, there's former players over and around the boxes before the game and after the game and stuff, and Jeff Snape does a great job for all that. But Swaney wanted me to actually come back on the club side of it and work with the media lads in some capacity. So we sat down and we had a chat, and he thought I had a great voice for radio for some reason. And that was that. I mean, it was the first few times was really kind of daunting, if you like. I mean, you know, and thankfully for me, and Gerds knows and Cal knows it, Jez really well, and Jez does a
Just explains to
fantastic
Jez
job.
Mulholland.
Yeah, what a job he does. I mean,
He's a star.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's so meticulous in his preparation that, I mean, there's no stone left unturned. I mean, we joke about I do the stats, and I've got to come clean. I don't. Jez does them. I think everybody knew that anyway. But yeah, I mean, he's a fantastic guy. You know, I absolutely love the lad, and he's part of a great team in the media. I mean, it's all headed up by Ian Skidmore, the media director, and Skids does a great job, and Sean Watts, and, you know, John and Little Joe, and, you know, Johnny, the new guys that have come in and stuff. And we've got an amazing team. We really, really have, and it makes my life a lot easier. That's for sure. So yeah, all the credit goes to them.
Brilliant. Bob?
So, I'm getting intrigued about this charity thing you're going to be doing in a kayak. We're now told. And you, I mean, the thing is, you'll be going the opposite direction to the dinghies, but nevertheless, we won't go into that.
Well, and that's why Cal's here with me, because it's a difficult one. Originally, we were going to be in sort of separate kayaks, but me and Kelly are in a tandem kayak now. There's 6 kayaks in total, and we've got a couple of medical boats. We're booked in to go on the 27th of July, which is a Monday morning. I don't know what the tide times are yet. I think they're like 6 a.m. or something like that. We're actually in Scotland on the Sunday. We're driving back down on the Sunday, so that's going to be...
So you're driving all the way from Scotland down to the south coast.
Well, it's
Then
Dover, yeah. We're going
yeah.
down to Dover, yeah, and then we're going to just canoe the channel, then come home, I expect, have a bit of dinner. I would have thought, something like that.
You need to be careful, you know, because P&O ferries are quite... they
You
got
do.
a very good service.
Well,
P&O
we
You
ferries.
realise that you're going across one of the biggest shipping channels in the world.
Listen, with the Albion, we'd never do things by half, do we? If we're going to do it, we do it correctly, and
So,
that's...
Why kayak? How did that idea?
Well, it was me and Jonathan Ward talking one night after a couple of drinks, I think. It was it
More than a couple by the sounds of it.
It's 30 years of the Great Escape, or 20 years of the Great Escape, or something like that. And the first suggestion was, let's break out of Alcatraz, swim across the bay, you know. But then obviously you got tides and sharks and things like that. So
And Trump.
yeah, so we kind of...
Dave Healy's done that. isn't he? He did that recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, who did that?
Dave Healy.
Yeah.
Oh,
9
did
days.
he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we didn't do that. So then it was, bit tongue in cheek. I mean, you didn't think this was ever going to happen, did you?
No.
Kelly agreed to this, thinking it was never going to happen, and
Never agreed.
lo and behold, here it is.
Mad.
Unbelievable. So how many people are doing it?
So there's 7 people, 6 kayaks. So there's Jonathan Ward's doing it from the foundation, Jude's doing it, Dave Langram, who's another great supporter of the foundation, and his wife Catherine. Catherine's not doing it. There's me and Kel. Who else is doing it?
Are you in the same kayak?
We're in the same kayak, yeah. So we're in a tandem, but Kelly wants to sit in the back where I can't see her, and she thinks she's going to be drinking like rum and coke all the way. But that's not happening. She's
Doing
gonna
the nails
be
while
in the
you're
front. Yeah, she's going to be in the front where I can keep an eye on her. Yeah,
Luckily,
absolutely.
a gondola going down the canal.
Yeah.
And there's blinking
Look,
great big tankers coming past.
Yeah.
Bonnie Coursey with his ice creams.
It's gonna be a real challenge. It really is. I mean, this is something that's even
Andy,
pushing
it's
me out of my comfort zone.
It's mad.
Do they gauge how long it's going to take?
Well, if you read,
read,
if you read sort of the articles of other loonies that have done it previous to us.
How many of them have survived?
Well, there's a few that haven't made it. And this is the thing. No, they haven't died, but they just not made it. So, it takes between 8 and 16 hours. I'm
16
guessing,
hours?
Really?
dependent on your expertise in
toys.
kayaking. Look, we've got a great team around us, and I've put all my faith in them, and I've put all Kelly's faith in them as well.
Can you imagine?
Just for
19 hours comes up. 19 hours comes up. He goes, "We can't see land yet." Now you're halfway in the Atlantic.
As Andy's talking about these kayaks and going across the channel, he's got his hands clasped in like prayer-like fashion.
I mean, we're not allowed to canoe through the French shipping lane, so we can get out for 5 miles, jump on a boat, and just go through the French, and then jump back out and finish off. If the tides, from what I've been told by the experts, if we time it correctly, we'll get 4 knots on the tide going out, and 4 knots on the tides coming in the other side. So I figure we only got to paddle a little bit in the middle, and that'll be about right.
I don't think so.
Now, I take it you're going to do loads of training for this.
We are, yes. So we have started. We started quite a strict diet through the whole of January.
Sorry, say that again.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
You
yeah.
started the strict
In
diet.
January. It was the worst 20 minutes of my life. Yeah, so we gave that up.
I just don't understand doing a challenge when we're in the most landlocked part of the country. I mean,
Well,
where'd you go?
Well, that's part of the appeal, I suppose. It's different, isn't it?
we're
You're certainly going to get
starting-
the imagination of
We've
people.
got a rowing machine now at home, so we use that. But I don't know if that's going to give us the sort of movement we need to mimic a kayak. I mean, it's going to obviously give us a bit of. Yeah, I'm kidding myself. It's going to be really tricky. I mean, when you're walking from Wembley to West Brom, you can go out and walk, and that's like mimicking what you're going to be doing the kayaking. I think we've got, from what I believe, we've got 6 visits to Felixstowe to practice. Because these kayaks are sea kayaks. They're not like a normal kayak you'd have, day to day.
Oh, that's all right then, isn't it?
yeah,
Ah,
They're
well, if
quite,
you'd have said.
quite specialist kayaks. And obviously the elements have got to be right. So, I mean, we will know the night before. So we will know sort of Sunday night if we're going Monday morning, or we'll know Monday night if it's going to be Tuesday morning, and the times change.
I'm just looking at Kelly's face while he's talking.
Well, I keep Googling. That's my problem. So I Google, and it basically says that it's all about the mental capacity and the motivation, and
Well,
it's
she wasn't gonna
really,
speak.
really hard. I know, but I give up really easy.
That's why she sat in the front so I could watch her. And we have one of them whips.
And I don't like water either. That's
Oh.
another.
Oh, that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a problem.
But
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
I don't know about you, Billy, but I think I'd rather go take a kayak down Tipton Cut.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
the
interesting, that
strength
is.
in your arms as well, I suppose. And so you're going down the rowing machines and stuff like that before.
Yeah, look, I mean, these challenges are never easy. They're not supposed to be easy. They're designed to take you away from your comfort zone, and really, we're trying to raise a lot of money for a fantastic cause, and if it was, you're going to walk down the road to Tesco's and back every day for a week. I mean, that's not going to excite people. They're not going to look at you and go, "You're mad or crazy. How are you going to do this?" and want to be involved in it. So we've picked something that is pretty out there. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm not really sort of frightened about many things. This doesn't scare me at all, love. Don't worry. But no, I mean it's.
Can you swim? Can you swim?
I mean, it's gonna be a big challenge. It's gonna be a big challenge, and I just, I hope that. What I'd love is if we had a load of Albion fans down on the beach as we go out singing "The Lord's Our Shepherd." It might be our last song we hear. It's like as you go across the ocean. But yeah, I mean, it's for a great cause. It's going to be difficult, and we've got to make sacrifices between now and July, training wise and dietary wise, and it's tricky, but. Like I said, it's for a fantastic cause.
Yeah. So do you know how people can get to sponsor you yet? Is that
not yet?
decided?
I'm sure we'll do a release. The foundation, Jonathan and Rob Lake will put something out there in the public domain for people to get involved.
That's something to look.
Well, I was
out
hoping
for.
that some of the supporters clubs would get involved as well. If we could drum up a lot of interest that way as well, and obviously we'll. Outside of the football club with the people we know and the other lads that are doing it as well, they'll all be doing their bit as well, and let's see how much money we can raise for this fantastic cause. I mean, the blind team actually play their home games in Hereford because that's the only facility that allows them to do that. Now, if we could raise enough money to maybe get the facility, and I'm maybe talking out of turn, I don't know, but I think it's to do with the boards, isn't it? The right boards that we need, and I think that's about 30 or 40 grand. I don't know. I mean, if we could raise that sort of money, and then we could bring them closer to the Hawthorns to play their home games, then it's accessible for everybody to go and watch. The fans can go. If you can't go to a away game and the blind team are playing at home on a Saturday, then you could easily go and watch them instead. Asking people to go to Hereford is, I've been there. It's a long way away. It's the roads aren't great. And it's a difficult place to get to. But if we could bring them a lot closer, then it gives everybody the opportunity to go and watch this fantastic team, the Power Chair team, the other disability teams that we have. If we can bring them closer to our football club, where our supporters live and our fans are, and know what's going on and know about the foundation, then they'll get involved and support this. And I just think, it's well worth us putting ourselves out for a few months of training and, not eating and drinking how we like and, holidays and
He gets it. That's that. There's you come across people and they just get it. They know what the foundation's about, and Andy definitely gets it. And I hope.
Well, you get inspired by people like Gurds. I mean, I'm not just saying this. I mean, they all give up their time.
No.
You do. You give up your time and you go above and beyond to make other people's lives better. And when you see people doing that, you want to be part of that. And it's something I love, and Kelly loves to get involved in as well. So, well, you haven't got a lot of choice really, but you are involved in. So, it's something that's very close to our hearts.
Right.
Who would have thought, Kelly?
I know.
Your family. If you'd have told them like 2 years ago, AJ's partner, and we're going to go kayak.
Do you know what?
Across the English Channel. I know.
Good. Honestly, let me tell you this quick story. So we played Oxford away last season, and Jacko had left some tickets for Cal at reception, so I go in and the guy there said, "Oh, your wife can go upstairs with you." I said, "Okay." It's like that. She's not normally allowed up there. She said, "Oh, we got loads of seats in the press area. She can sit there." So I go up, and Cal sat in the media lounge, and I go over and get a cup of tea for us, and I turn around and she's sat chatting to Bomber, and I come over and they're talking about their hips and arthritis and all that, and I've gone, "Do you know who that is?" She's gone, "Yes, Tony." I said, "Yeah, Tony Brown, Bomber Brown." I said, "He's the greatest Albion player of ever." I said, the big bronze statue outside the ground? I said, "That's him." She's gone, "Is it? Wait till I tell my dad." Not a clue, just sat there with Bomber. And that's what our football club's about. The greatest star our football club's ever had is just sat there chatting to my missus, who has no idea who that is, about the cold weather and his hips and his knees and stuff like that, and it's just sums up everything about our club. It's just one family.
Absolutely brilliant. Right, we'll talk a little bit more in a minute. You're listening to the Throstle Club with Norman Bartlam and Bob Downing. So you're listening to the Throstle Club on Black Country Radio Extra with myself, Norman Bartlam, and Bob Downing. Now, 1976 seems a long time ago, actually. Well, it is. It's 50 years, but I can certainly remember what was happening in there in 1976 because it was a great year for West Bromwich Albion. with a great promotion thing that anybody that was there will never forget. And it's coming up, as we say, to 50 years, and there's going to be a big celebration at the end of this season. And the man who's organising the celebrations, or helping to organise it, is Jeff Snaper, the former Players Association. So he's with us now. So Jeff, tell us a little bit about what's planned.
That was a great year, 76. We got promotion under Johnny Giles, and the same year the youth team won the FA Youth Cup, the only time an Albion side has ever won the Youth Cup. So we've decided, in conjunction with the Supporters Club, that Bill Smith and I have got our heads together, and we've going to organise this evening on the Thursday, the 23rd of April, at the Hawthorns. Tickets are £55 each, which includes a 3-course meal, or a table of 10 is £500. We have coming nearly everybody from that 76 promotion side. Willie Johnson, Brian Robson, Len Cantello, the great man Johnny Giles himself, obviously Bomber Brown, Ali Robb, John Weil. We're actually getting John Truitt to come along, because John doesn't come to many events. Brian Robson doesn't come to many events at the Hawthorns because obviously he's Manchester United connections, but he's definitely says he's coming. Ian Edwards is coming down from North Wales. So Joe Mayo, all the lads who played, Mick Martin as well. So, and then the youth team, which included at the time Derek Statham, Mark Grew, Wayne Hughes. They're all coming, along with some of the other slightly lesser known guys like Mark Trenter, Martin Davis, John Loveridge, Brian Clark. They're all coming as well. So there's going to be about over 20 former players attending the do. I don't think there's been many occasions at the Albion when you've had 20 former players back celebrating an event, and as I say, particularly in 1976. So if anybody wants a table, they can get in touch with me or Bill Smith through the Supporters Club, and we are putting it out on social media, on various Albion Facebook pages like Look Back in Albion. So there are various channels that you can on Twitter, X, sort of thing. It's all on there. So anybody interested, it will be a great night. So please come along and support that.
Brilliant. So that's going to be the 23rd of April then.
Yeah.
Tickets are £50 a piece.
Yeah. I think also it's created an interest that a couple of lads who never played in the side are coming along. Asa Hartford and Clive Whitehead. They both heard about it and said, "Oh, we'd like to come along to that as well." So,
brilliant. Okay, so it promises to be a great night then on the 23rd of April
at the Hawthorns.
This is the Throstle Club with Norman Bartlam and Bob Downing.
So, AJ, let's talk a bit more about Albion-related matters then. Now, fans of a certain age, those in sort of the late 20s, early 30s onwards, going back 20 years or so now we're talking about, we're nearly 25 years the way things are coming on. There was a certain match at Bramall Lane in Sheffield, which I'm sure you don't want to be reminded about, but it's a game that everybody talks about that went down in history, didn't it? The Sports Argus headline was Chaos Reigns, and the Sheffield version in Sheffield, which was the Greenan, headline was Abandoned. So what was all that about?
Well, I've spent thousands on therapy trying to forget it, and all you lot want to do is talk about it all the time. So it was a certain altercation with myself and a former Albion player, George Santos. We had a coming together, I think the phrase is nowadays, the season before when I was at Forest, and George felt a little bit aggrieved by that and wanted to snap me in half, pretty much. I actually knew it was going to happen because Robert Ullathorne, who I was at Norwich with, had told me leading up to that week Mego pulled me in and said, "Are you all right to play?" And I said, "Yeah, of course I am." So I kind of knew it was coming. And then when Derek McInnes rolled that, well, we used to call them hospital passes because you usually got a snap leg if you had a pass that short. So I saw George come in, and that's why I've kind of got the ball but lifted up off the ground a little bit. And as he's hit me, I've just sort of flipped over, somersault. I thought he'd done me. He must have caught me funny because my leg was numb for a little bit. So I missed the chaos that came after that. I think Derek got headbutted by Patrick Sufo. Big Darren Moore was running around. His eyes had gone like he wanted to murder somebody. I mean, he just totally lost him, Big Moro. He didn't know who to grab hold of first. But luckily for them, he didn't get hold of anybody. So that then all calmed down. Everybody was getting sent off. And, Keith Curl was on the touchline with Neil Warnock. And they just were... Yeah, I mean, there's no other way to say it. They were cheating. They were trying to get players off and, trying to get the game abandoned.
But the point is, if you went down to 6 men, the rules at that time, I think they're still on the same, aren't they?
Was
They
it
said the
6
game
or
would be
9,
abandoned.
wasn't it?
I think they went down to 6 men.
No,
I think we only... Do we have... When he sent the 4th player off, I think the game got abandoned.
Yeah.
There was one of the players, one of the Sheffield United players had gone down with a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
Or a supposedly hamstring injury, and basically didn't wait to be sort of
He walked off.
He walked off.
Yeah.
Was that Brown? Was it Michael?
Yeah.
Michael Brown, I
Michael
think that
Brown,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Brown, and he walked off. And I mean the story in some of those papers, they said the later he'd got a hamstring injury at half time. Well, why did he not come off at half time?
Yeah, I mean it's. I think the whole day was a bit of a shambles, to be honest. And then Gary Megson, in his wisdom, decides to take me off, and the AD Stovell, who was the fitness coach then, he's walking me down the tunnel, and Big George just stood there waiting for me, so he flew at me then down the tunnel, and AD wrestled him to the ground. I ran in the dressing room to, kind of get out of the way a little bit, and the police were inside. They locked me in, and thankfully locked him out. He was quite upset, George, but yeah, it was. But the funny story which I like about all this is, one, we got promoted that season, so it's kind of it's one-upmanship a little bit for that. But we're also the only ever team that made it onto Match of the Day that wasn't a top flight team. I think they clipped it up on Match of the Day as well. And also we got awarded. We're the only team again, I believe, that we got 6 points in one weekend.
That's right. Yeah.
Because they made the decision on the Friday, I think, and then we got awarded the 6 points, and then we got the 3 points for that game, and then we won the game against. Was it against Sheffield Wednesday or?
I'm not sure.
Anybody?
But
Can't remember, but yeah,
6 points.
Yeah, we got
in
6
anyway,
6 points in the one weekend. So
yeah.
That. It was, I mean, to be honest, I mean, that kind of took the shine off it. I mean, we were talking earlier with Gurds. I mean, the Bradford game for me was the game where, it was, we were all, I think we'd missed 8 penalties that season or something stupid like that. And we'd had sort of 8 different penalty takers. And it was getting to the point where I might have needed to take one. And that's never going to happen. I think Russell Holt would have been taking one before me. But yeah, I mean, the Igor Ballis, he stands up and, he just so calmly. I still to that day hadn't heard Igor speak, apart from just saying, yeah, I'll take it. And he just slots it into the bottom corner. I think it was Bob Taylor that got brought down for the penalty from a ball from Derek McInnes. But that day for me, that was the day when we thought, you know what, we've got this, and we believe that we're going to go on and win it.
I got goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable.
I was there with my daughter for the Sheffield game as well, and the confusion amongst the fans, like, what?
Well, I've actually got, so what had happened is, I don't know what happened in the crowd, but we were defending a corner, and this guy went past us on a stretcher, and he was bleeding from his head. And I'll never forget it. Anyway, a few years later, I became friends with this guy. His name was Steve from Kempsey. And, we were talking about the Battle of Bramall Lane, and I didn't even realise at this point. He said, yeah, I got hit with something from the crowd. He said, and I got stretchered back on the stretcher. I said, I remember that. I said, it was a corner, and you went past me like that. And it was like, crazy.
Yeah, they were just horrible, throwing things and everything. It was just...
Yeah. So, mate, did you ever keep newspaper cuttings? Because obviously we've got the newspaper cuttings from the Argus and...
I haven't,
Readings
no.
there,
My father keeps everything. There's scrapbooks of me and my brother who played sort of locally. He's got scrapbooks. I even keep the programmes now for him from the West Brom games and my notes, Jez's notes. He likes to read all that and the team sheet. So he collects all of that. I never have. It's not anything that I never read the papers when we were doing well. I never read them when we were doing bad. I was kind of that kind of player that, you know.
Oh, well, that ruins the page from the Argus book, doesn't it?
Sorry, Bob.
Thank you, and good night.
all the blood, sweat and tears.
The
When's
time
that
I've
there?
spent sorting out these
When's
sports
that? Is
Argus
that,
pictures. There's one with you on the cover there when we scored at
Sunderland. That was in the FA Cup. Was it fifth round? Or?
Nice picture of you on the front cover. I thought I'll use that for my Argus
Yeah.
book. I never really look at it.
Jason Roberts. No, I remember. Listen, I didn't score that many goals, so I remember all of them.
Well, quickly, Gurdy, we've just got a couple of minutes left, really. So the conversations we've had here are the kind of conversations that ordinary fans have together on a Wednesday morning at what's known as the Hawthorns Hub, which obviously Bob and myself are quite regulars at. So just briefly tell us a little bit about that.
Basically, it started off as an initiative by Mark Jenkins when his second time round at the Albion. He wanted to do something to give back. Try and tackle loneliness and isolation within the community. And I suggested we open the doors once a week to allow people to come in, have a cup of tea, socialise, meet people, make friends. And Mark suggested we use the media suite, which is the best room at the stadium, overlooking the pitch. And that's how it started off, with one or two people turning up, and then it slowly built momentum. And then we were hit with COVID, so we had to get online. We did it via Zoom, and now I'm really proud to say that it's every Wednesday between 12 and 2:30 in the media suite. We have a group of like 30, 40 people come together. It's more of a friendship group. And as you say, you come in, you're made to feel very, very welcome, lovely people, and just chat.
It's brilliant to chat to. It's been brilliant chatting to everybody as well today. But time, as always, has beaten us on the Throstle Club. So thank you to all of you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
And hope that listeners have enjoyed the programme, and we'll be back next month.
This is the Throstle Club with Norman Bartlam and Bob Downing.
Live from the Black Country, online, on your mobile.